Hey, I'm Sarzi, Community Manager at HypeHype, and I'm here to talk about how you can improve your games using your game stats page. Now, I know that metrics and analytics and numbers aren't necessarily topics that we tend to find super exciting, but do you know what is exciting? Making better games and earning some money with them. So, since you can now earn money with your games in HypeHype, I'm going to show you how you can use your game metrics to improve your games, get more players, and make some more money. By looking at your game metrics, you can get a good idea of the things in your game that work well, and maybe also the things that don't work so well or need some improvements. First of all, to find your game stats, head on over to your profile page and select the game that you want to see the stats of. On the right, there's a stats button that will take you to your game's stats page. First up, you will see the current level of your game. This level measures the overall engagement of your game, so the higher this number is, the better. If or once your game reaches level 10, you'll be able to add in-game purchases, which is an additional way for your game to make some money. Here, you'll also see the total earnings of your game, and you can expand the tab to see yesterday's earnings, playtime, and engagement points. This is obviously the easiest way to track how much your game has been making so far. Now, in the versions section, you can choose whether you want to look at the stats of the game since it was published, so for all time, or only of a specific version of your game, aka a specific update. You can use this to see how your latest update performed, or you can compare the stats of different updates to see which ones performed well, and maybe which ones didn't do so well. Below this, we come to these 4 circles which represent the playtime, retention, appeal, and performance of your game. We generally want to aim for these circles to be green, as it means that you're doing pretty well in these areas. Red and yellow generally mean that these areas need some more attention and improvements. Let's start by looking at the playtime section. Playtime shows you how many hours and minutes your game has been played for. As it says here, playtime is the most important metric to try to improve, as the more playtime your game accumulates, the more HypeX you will earn. After this, you can see what percentage of players play your game for how long. This will vary from game to game, but generally, if you can get most of your players to play over a minute, you're already doing well. You can use the graph below to see what time players are dropping off and losing interest at. Now, there are many reasons that players may choose to leave your game, and that can be a little bit difficult to figure out just from one graph. However, we have a super useful section you can use to figure this out, which we will be talking about soon. But some easy ways to improve average playtimes are having a clear and simple introduction or tutorial to your game, so people don't leave out of confusion, making sure that there is enough content to play so people don't run out of things to do after the first minute. If your game is short, you can add in some replayability value so people will want to come back for more. You could add progression systems and achievements for players to keep playing and grinding, and listening to your community and feedback. Creating a lovely community around your game and listening to them will keep people coming back for more. The next graphs show you how long people play before dying or failing the game, and what their average score is. This can give you some insight into how easy or difficult your game is. For example, if most people are only getting low scores, you may want to make your game a little bit easier to play. In this graph, I can see that there's a drop-off between level 2 and 3 of my game, so I can make this area a little bit easier for people so they don't leave so soon. Okay, now on to the clip section that I was talking about earlier. It is so useful as it's basically free playtesting for your game. This records clips of the players that have played your game, and it can store up to 100 clips of your game. Watching these clips can really help you dig deeper and analyze how people are playing your game, where they're struggling, or maybe why they're leaving your game. So, for example, you might watch a few replays and notice that everyone is struggling to make a specific jump that causes them to leave, or maybe people aren't understanding what to do at a specific point in your game and they leave just out of confusion. These things are quite easy to fix, and they can lead to massive improvements in playtime and enjoyability of your game. Replays are super handy for analyzing player behavior and seeing what players do in your game. Whew, okay, we got the biggest thing out of the way. Now, on to retention. Retention is also an important metric to follow and try to improve, as this shows how many people are coming back to replay your game. Having more people that love your game and want to come back to play more is a great way to increase overall playtime. Retention can sometimes be a bit of a tricky number to increase, but there are plenty ways of doing so. Some ideas are adding in character customization, adding in some collectibles for players to collect, and making regular updates to keep the game interesting. Now on to appeal. The feed conversion number is how many people play your game when they see it in the feed, and thumbnail conversion is how many people click on your thumbnail after seeing it. You can improve these numbers by making an interesting thumbnail, something that people are going to want to click on, have a good game title that will entice people to play, and make good update posts that followers will see and want to try out. Finally, performance. Performance often won't be an issue unless you have many moving parts in your games. However, it is good to make sure that the average performance of your game is at least above 50 FPS. There's going to be players from all around the world on many different possible devices, so you want to make sure that as many people will be able to play your game as possible. You can improve your game performance by playtesting your game a lot and seeing wherever there may be any bugs or any issues. You can performance test, so what happens if you have hundreds of collectibles, for example, and watching replays to see if your players encounter any bugs. And that is it for game metrics. I realize that this was quite a lengthy video, so thank you if you have made it this far with me. Hopefully you learned some useful ways on how to check your game's performance and got some ideas on how to spot and fix issues. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I will be there answering you. And I'll also leave a link down below where you can check out the page and FAQ on earning money with your games. It's super easy. And I will see you next time. Bye!